Yeah, you may as well go ahead, Dawn, in the absence of our chair.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name's Don Lewis. Just in case you don't know who your chair is today, in the absence of Jim. So I think everybody is here except Jim. So perhaps when you speak first, you might give your name so the secretary understands the voice of the name. So we'll call to order, and we need a motion to confirm the agenda as presented.
Also moved, Dale Pallister.
Seconder, please.
John, second it.
Okay, I assume everybody's in favor of that. Nobody in opposition. We'll declare pecuniary interest. Okay, if it arises, please feel free. Adoption of the minutes. Be it resolved that the board approved the minutes from September 15, 2020 police service this morning as presented. Are there any errors or omissions? If not, I'd ask for a motion to approve. Balance is golden, guys.
Do we have a mover for that motion?
John, waiting.
I'll move it.
Moved by John.
Second.
Yeah.
Second. Did you get that, Lindsay?
Yeah, I got John as the mover and Alan as the seconder.
Okay, thanks, Alan. All those in favor? I think everybody's happy. Business arising. Lindsay, is there anything that we need to deal with out of the
No, nothing received.
worship? Do you have anything that you wish to talk about?
No, not at this time.
Okay. We'll move along to our detachment commander's report. The commander's report is there. I think I'll do it a little bit different. We'll hear it and then we'll move a motion to receive it.
So we just need to,
okay.
Dawn, we just need to have a mover and seconder on the table to be able to discuss it, and then we'll vote on it after.
Okay.
Yep.
Please feel free, guys. Give me a motion.
I so move that we go ahead and discuss it, Dale. Alan DeBreen, second.
Okay, we have a motion now. Our acting commander, please introduce yourself to the rest of us. So let's carry on.
Hello, everybody. So just to kind of give you a bit of an update on to kind of some organizational structure changes, or at least temporary movements. So I guess you're probably already aware, Paul Chambers, he's our acting inspector detachment commander at this time. And I think his contract is until January, if I'm not mistaken. If you, do you know Terry Ward? He's our operations manager. So Terry, he is in an acting inspector role in Wasaga Beach right now. So I am in his chair. I'm tied to Grey Goose Detachment, so I'm not from the outside coming in. I'm one of the sergeants here, and so I'm acting in Terry's role while Terry's away, and Paul Chambers is acting inspector while we wait to fill that position. So I guess while I'm on that topic about filling the inspector position, has there been any discussions in previous police service board meetings about the status of that, or do you want me to kind of go over a few things there?
The status of all the appointments or the report? I missed that point.
More like, because I get that you're seeing a lot of different faces. And so just to give an update on that end, there's some consistency. A little bit of a background to that is that we got a new commissioner, and the new commissioner changed the hiring process for detachment commanders and ranks above that. actually all ranks are, the hiring process and the promotional process is changed. They were waiting to hammer out the exact details about how that promotional process looks. That's all fully complete, and postings for inspector, superintendent, all those higher levels have already been closed. So we anticipate that the job posting for Grey Bruce is going to be soon. And so once that's posted, there'll be interviews, and I think you'll have a permanent detachment commander here in the not too distant future. So we're not running with actors and new faces all the time. And I think being at some other police service board meetings, I think that consistency is really important to you guys, and it's important to us internally, absolutely. So I believe that in the near future you'll get some consistency in that way. Any comments or questions regarding that point?
Don here. Will we be involved in any way, shape, or form in the interview process?
That I don't know. My understanding with the previous selections that there has been, the contract locations with police service boards do get, I think, a seat at the table. What this, and I think that comes from the Police Service Act, if I'm not mistaken. And so if it's a legislative thing, then yeah, absolutely. But I have heard that there's upcoming changes to the Police Service Act, and so when that actually, what that looks like, will be seen. So yeah, I don't really know. I can't answer that for you. Sorry.
Any other questions?
I'd like to. All right.
One last question here. I'm sorry, I missed your name there when you introduced yourself.
You know what? I don't even think I did mention my name. I apologize. I'm on the computer here, so I can see everybody else's name, but I understand there's people calling in by phone. I'm Nigel Heels.
Hey, Nigel.
Okay.
Carry on.
So I'm not too sure what your board likes to do with the report. I can kind of scroll through it. If there's something of note that piques my interest, I'll kind of point out. But of course, as you're scrolling through it, just if you have a question or a comment or something, just like bring it to my attention, and I'll see if I can speak to it. Okay, so this report is, we talk about August and September media releases. That's one area that we've really concentrated on to make sure that we're getting out to the public what is actually taking place in communities regarding policing. The ride hours for August and September are quite frankly disappointing with zeros. I'm not entirely surprised. It's kind of a trend that we have been seeing since COVID really struck, is that there is limited interactions with the public, and we do that for a number of different reasons, but August and September, particularly because the call volume is so high, it is hard to do some of those more proactive initiatives like Ride. But I think as we roll into the festive ride season, we'll see increases in those hours for sure. September, a good amount of foot patrol hours within the municipality. And impaired by drugs, 3 year to date, not in August or September. And the COVID-related occurrences, 54 total. And those would include any ones that were referred to by law or public health. Sometimes people call us as as a point person for a lot of these things. Then we look into violent crime, the statistical changes year to year. And when I'm looking at August to September year to year, it looks like we have seen a pretty good reduction, but we are dealing with smaller numbers, so I think a larger percentage is not always indicative of, or you can't always say that we're trending in one way or direction on dealing with small numbers like that. Property crime, now that's up, I see. So major areas where we're seeing increase there. Theft unders are up by 3 occurrences. Theft overs are up. Break and enters are up for August and September. Clearance rates. Not a whole lot to say about that point there. Any questions regarding the billable hours summary, the billing summary reports? I see that for your when I go to the totals, it's up from last year, the year-to-date weighted hour total, which is a few of the other police service board meetings that I've been to recently. It's been down, so actually we're seeing an increase in Southgate. So I don't know. Probably could be for a number of different reasons, as we see an increase in population, I think, in Southgate. What do you guys think? From your observations out there?
Dale speaking, I think we have an area where there's been a lot of patrolling going around west of Grey Road 14, south of Hopeful. There's some pretty significant, Swinton Park area, some significant things happening there that have likely involved a lot of police time. And should still involve, maybe this weather I think will slow a lot of it down, but there was some pretty scary stuff going on there.
Are you talking about the major crime investigation?
Well, I think there's maybe crime and there's maybe drugs and there's just a variety of issues going on there, I think.
Yeah. So
I don't know if that's what it's pertained to, but I know there has been a pile of complaints and a couple individuals that have been talking to the police quite a bit and have, I think likely Don maybe preluded it to it in the September meeting. Did you, Don?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's good, because if people are seeing an issue and they are coming to police about it, that's what we need to hear those things, and so then we can investigate complaints that come in. And when I do look at the billable hour summaries, it's usually a pretty good indication as to trend, because that's what all these different calls are billed in certain ways. And so if we're seeing increase in weighted hours, it's obviously it means increased police activity in terms of involvement in these occurrences taking place. So where we see the major increase there, it looks like the operational one, I guess that's not too many, 150 hours extra billables. Sorry, I'm just kind of scrolling through here. I'm looking at the property crime one, and that's where, when I looked at the month to month, it's a pretty big increase. But when you look at the billable hours, there's a pretty substantial increase there. And I wonder, I need to take this back to see if we can do something in that area. Whether or not it's like a lock it or lose it campaign or something like that, or.
I think maybe, and I shouldn't say too much because a lot of it could be rumor, but I think they're relocating for the winter into the village of Dundalk. That's some of the places they were staying and what was going on was able to be outdoor activity, but from what I've heard lately, it sounds as though they're relocating back to the village for the winter.
Okay.
Of Dundalk.
Yeah, it looks like
that because I don't know enough about it. Just enough to be dangerous is about all I know.
There's smoke, there's fire.
so that's, okay, so look at billable hours, and then down to charges. And the crash summary for the area, a lot of them county roads. And that's it for that top report. Anything that I glossed over that you wanted me to dig into a little bit, or anything you want questions about?
Hey guys, speak up or hold your peace.
Again, I'm just an email away, or Schomber's just an email away, or something too. So, if you think of something, you can always just reach out. And just looking at an email, or is that the next item to go over? I'm just looking at this email from Paul Schomber, something about a speed spy. Is that,
we'll just vote on this item first, then move into the correspondence.
Sure.
Okay,
If
if
you're-
there's no other questions, we have a motion in front of us here. Pardon me? No objections, we consider the motion passed. Okay. Okay, let's move on to that item of email and correspondence. Lindsay, what's the scoop with this?
So there's just 2 items here of correspondence. Normally the board just receives them for information. The one is an email from Paul Schomber's, just a bit of information about, let me just get into it here. Just some information about, they're called speed spy devices. Maybe Nigel can elaborate. He's just kind of highlighting some information on them.
Oh, okay. So the speed spies, like oftentimes we'll get traffic complaints or concerns from citizens saying, "Hey, we have the sky is falling. We have a major traffic issue in the area. Go do something about it." And so we like to take the approach of, well, let's actually determine if we do have a problem before we end up committing resources to it. And so what these speed spies do is that it's an inconspicuous device that's usually tied to a hydro pole. You don't know it's a radar unit, but it records all of the speeds in the area, gives us time of day, and then it spits out a report, which we then determine, do we actually have an issue in the area? And if we do, then what time is that issue so that we can devote enforcement or education efforts within that particular period. So that's what the speed spies are. So the Safe Communities Committee, Bruce Peninsula, has 2 of them. And so they are regularly deployed in different areas on the Bruce Peninsula. And I know sometimes I do loan them south as well, because they're technically not the ODPs, they're the Safe Communities Committee. And then there is a Black Cat, which I know it's on the south side of things. Did you guys as a police service board get together with the other police service boards to purchase the Black Cat?
Yeah.
Okay, John's shaking his head. Okay, so that's exactly what this is here. Was somebody trying to get another one? Is that what's going on with this correspondence, or I'm just telling you what it is?
Yeah, I think he was just kind of relaying information just for me to, or for us as police service boards to share. So.
Okay. Yeah, they are definitely worth their weight in gold. And it's good that you guys did come together and purchase that one. I know they're expensive, but the one that you did get was really good. The one that the 2 that the Safe Communities Committee got, they only measure one direction of traffic. The Black Cat does both. Might seem like something minor, but it's huge when you're looking at the analytics of things.
Awesome.
Because, you're missing half the traffic otherwise. Is that what triggered the reduction in built-up areas in Southgate? A lot of people ask me, why did they change the speed limits in the villages?
In Southgate?
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if there was reports back to council regarding the speeds, or if it was just an initiative that council put together to reduce it. I know in some other areas, municipalities have asked for if we do have data, and we've provided that data. Yeah, I mean, reduction of speeds, it's one part of the equation, but at the end of the day, you know, if you have a speeding issue in an area, sometimes enforcing your way is not the way out of the problem. You have to initiate some.
Well, I just noticed Grey Highlands voted not to go, and I just wondered Southgate went that way. So,
Good morning, everyone.
Morning,
Hello.
Jim. You got on?
Finally got a connection.
So Don's just been in the vice chair position, so we'll let you assume the chair then.
So where are we at this
So
meeting so far?
we're just on number 8, correspondence. So we're just talking about the email from Paul Chambers, and then there's another item of correspondence, just a memo about a policing staffing update at the ministry. And normally we would just receive those two as correspondence as information. So we're just discussing those two items.
Very good. So the detachment commander found his way in okay.
So we have Nigel Heels here today, Jim. Paul Chambers is just on assignment somewhere else.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's something kind of talked about the top of this, and I totally get your tone there. I talked to the group about, you know, consistency is really important, and how the promotional process has not already been solidified. So I am hoping, and I know our detachment and communities are hoping that that process moves forward quickly, so that there can be you know, consistency.
So both of these items, have they been addressed?
We haven't quite moved on to the ministry update, but it's pretty general. If there's probably no questions there, it's just a staffing update from the ministry. Just looking. So we're probably okay to entertain a motion, Jim, to just receive those two items as information.
so moved. Don here.
Good for you, John. Colin DeBreen, seconded. Seconded. So we have be it resolved that the board received the items of correspondence dated November 17th for information. Are there any further discussions on this matter? Hearing none, we'll accept that as being passed. Thank you. New and unfinished business. Updating the status of the joint ticket book. Is the representative have anything to say on that?
Sorry, me? Nigel?
Nigel, do you have anything to update? I mean, you might not know in your position, but with the joint status of the joint ticket books between the municipalities?
So this must have been an item discussed about with Martin Murray a long time ago. Is that right? Okay, so I think the last discussion I had with Martin Murray about it was it had been a year ago, let's say, or maybe even longer, perhaps. But anyway, so he gave me a contact with somebody in Georgian Bluffs. I want to maybe a Brittany, perhaps. And so I met with her, and I provided kind of like a template. That was a long time ago, and then it died because it was back to the municipality to kind of to come up with something there. But from what I remember, the big challenges were each municipality's bylaws are numbered differently, or sometimes the fines were different, or the short-term wordings were different. So putting all of that onto a single ticket book was going to be a challenge. You'd end up with something, an 8.5 by 14 or something like that. It wouldn't be as simple as, a normal one. with that being said, I could be off on some tangent there, because I don't, like, I guess what was the end goal with creating a joint ticket book? I should ask.
You fellas have a ticket book for each municipality, don't you?
Yeah, the bylaw ones, that's right.
Okay, well, all of the municipalities were on board for this. And then it took a dive when Chatsworth decided they were going to amalgamate with West Grey. That fell through, so everything was back on track. And as far as the municipalities having their own bylaw, it would be better if the OPP were to establish one in conjunction with the municipalities. And I asked Paul to get a meeting going with the chairs to get this thing sorted out, and he said he would, but that hasn't transpired.
Okay.
So it's still... Go ahead.
So I'm just writing down a note here to figure what's going on there. Ticket book. And this is going back kind of deep into the memory banks here, but there has to be, I guess it depends on like how much appetite there is and how much money there is to generate these books, because there's some, legal that goes into them as well, because they're a certificate of offenses under the Provincial Offences Act. But anyway, I don't want to, if that's something already moving forward, I won't get into the weeds too much with that one. But what I will do, I'll make sure I bring it up to Paul Chambers to see, because I'm not too sure, maybe he stopped the project for a certain reason, or if maybe the determination was, okay, the OPP is not going to be the lead on a bylaw ticket book, because it's not something that, Is the idea just to get away with officers having a couple extra ticket books with them?
The idea was to have one ticket book for all of the Grey County. We'd have a little checkbox there where you mark off whichever township you're in. And as far as the wording goes, that was something that was to be discussed. But Martin Murray decided that he was going to put it on hold until Chatsworth decided to get back on board. Well, Chatsworth has been on board now for some time, but we've had so many damn changes in the head of the OPP that everything is just falling apart. I mean, we've got to have somebody that's going to stick around a little longer and get things done.
Yeah, I agree with you. Consistency is key for 1,000 different reasons. And it's definitely what you're saying is echoed throughout our communities, even internally, it's nice to have the one person there. I think for the joint ticket books, and that's something that I would be more than happy to be in discussion with in the future, to determine whether or not it's should energies be put in that direction for the ticket books, or can the resources and energies put into that be put into something more beneficial? Because when I look at the billing summary and I see a huge increase in property related crimes, in my mind it's like maybe that's where we should be spending our effort in. I don't say that by trying to offend you by saying that the joint ticket books is not something worthwhile or not an initiative moving forward. But when I look at property crime rates, it affects everybody, and we all have limited resources and times to deal with certain projects. I'm just trying to see if I have anything about the joint ticket book from Martin Murray at all, because I'm pretty sure it was left off with giving Georgian the contact at Georgian Bus. did somebody from Georgian Bluffs decide to take the lead on it? Do you know?
I
Yeah.
believe their former clerk, Wendy, she kind of took the lead,
Okay.
but now
That's it.
Brittany is now the acting clerk, so, but she probably won't have a lot of the background info.
Okay.
I know it was Wendy.
That's exactly. Yes, it was Wendy, and that's the person that I met with to provide. Because what I did do, I provided almost like a not a sketch, but a cut and paste from different things into one. I think it's just going to require that if it's a project you really want is to push forward, you're going to need a lead on it because it's inevitably going to have to go to legal to confirm that it's a proper certificate of offense. Because the last thing that we would want would be 3,000 of these ticket books or tickets printed to find for a lawyer to say, well, a word's out of place, and now that certificate of offense can't even stand up in court. So it's presumably, because you have to think about French Languages Act and bilingual tickets and anyway. And then sorry, sir.
Don here. Showing my age here, this joint ticket book thing's been around for 20 years. And every time it comes back to the point, when we get a county police system, one administrative body, they'll probably get done. Until then, I think we'll just keep talking about it.
Yeah, it ends up like, are you trying to save a couple dollars with, not printing off enough ticket books? But again, it's not my job to decide the priorities of if that's something that you want to push through. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely tangible benefits from an officer's perspective to have one book to go to. I can absolutely see that.
This ticket book system, all of the municipalities were in favour of it. But the municipalities can't call it a sort of general meeting with the board chairs and the mayors to decide this. It has to be done by the OPP. Anything that the boards try to put together wouldn't be legal. It has to be the OPP that initiates a meeting of the heads here to finalise things, because there's more than just the common ticket book that's at stake here. There's a number of items that are still hanging in the wind. And the only way to resolve this nonsense is to have the inspector call a meeting of the board chairs and mayors. Let's take, for instance, the Black Cat. Wellington has got the Black Cat monitor system. But we ended up with a system that seems to be failing. So that's something else that's up for discussion. Are the boards going to pay for a new system, or we're going to suffer with an old system?
Jim, we're still on the joint ticket books. The next item's the speed monitoring device. So are we done discussing the joint ticket books?
Yeah, just I'll bring it up there. Sorry, I'll bring it up to the inspector's attention, because if it has to be him that calls a head of police service board meeting,
Yeah.
then I'll put that on his plate to call, and then maybe then it could be discussed like, hey, is this as a project as a group? Is that something that we feel is important to move forward on, or if it's just another agenda item that we'll keep on the books in our minds, but maybe not something. But yeah, I'll bring it to his attention again, and I'll bring forward the concern that it's been brought to him already and nothing's been done.
Okay, that would be appreciated. Now we have the 9.2, an update on the results of the covert monitoring device in Dundalk. Did you have anything to report on that?
So I'm not too sure if you got in before or after the email where I was discussing the Black Cat.
I think it was kind of during that discussion, Nigel.
Okay, so and regarding the new agenda item, I'm not too sure of that issue there, but I was just speaking to the benefits of the covert speed monitoring, and how the Black Cat is a good device. I'm not too sure where the information came from that it's not a good device, actually.
The unit we have is the Black Cat.
You have Black Cat. The other ones are, I actually think they're called Speed Spies is the brand name. But the Black Cat is, that's with like, it's a laptop, it measures traffic in both ways. And you know what, regardless of what company you're going to get, you're going to have battery issues, because I don't know where I read this here. Limited capacity and battery life. Batteries of any electronic device, when it gets cold, is horrible. And so this time of year we don't put them up, because it just they don't last. But as soon as the spring rolls around, or April, we start putting them up again. And we have our volunteers, auxiliaries, are trained to change out the devices and install them and things. So, like what I was saying to the rest of the board, they're worth their weight in gold. They really are. They help us either target enforcement or decide not to do any enforcement in the area because there's not a need. Sometimes there's a perception that there's a speed issue in an area when in fact there's actually not. And the data will support our decisions either way.
Was it ever installed on Victoria Street in Dundalk?
I will check.
I don't believe, Jim, that it was ever on, or it has been on Victoria Street yet. It's on Ida Street South, just in between the Eco Parkway and kind of just when the houses start to populate. It's up there right now.
I do have. So, are we talking about the Black Cat that we administer, or is there another one around? Just so I know I'm talking about the right thing.
It's a covert monitoring device. Forget about the name.
Yeah, I got that, but I'm just making sure because we do have data from Victoria Street.
We do.
And that's in July 22nd to 27th.
So what's the results? I think that's the discussion.
Okay, so it's posted speed limit 40 kilometers an hour, and 14.7% above limit. Eastbound 16.8% above limit. Westbound, and so what that means. It's just 4 different documents here. And Lindsay, I can send you this this data if you want.
Yeah, I was gonna actually suggest that if you could send that to me and we could put it on the agenda.
Let me explain the reason for that system going in on Victoria Street. There was a complaint about high-speed traffic in that area during the midsummer time, and I think that the reason for the extra traffic in there was that Main Street was being resurfaced, and there's every possibility that would cause the high traffic volume in that area. And of course, when there's a lot of traffic, you get the occasional speeder. So if you have that report, you could send it to Lindsay. She's an excellent clerk, and we can review it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at. I don't have the average speed or the percentile speed in this here, but still, prior to me sending it over to you, Lindsay, I will make sure that some of the raw data is plugged in there. Because our evaluation of it is that it's at least just during this period of time. I'm not saying all the other times, but when I look at that one, it's it's a pretty low percentage.
Well, if we're finished with the covert speeding device, I have a couple of items here. The Zone 5 meeting for December has been cancelled. Well, it's got a racket in there.
So Jim, the next item on the agenda is the Police Service Board meeting dates for next year.
Yeah, but I've got something to get in before that. There's a PSB budget. I would like to know which members wish to attend the annual general meeting. If in fact that we're going to have an annual general meeting. But we have to make sure that there's sufficient funds in the budget when this covert thing is over. And then there's a fall seminar. So the members of the board can let Lindsay know their intention with these meetings and the zone meetings. It gives us a better idea as to what's required for the budget.
Yeah.
And that covers what I have. So we'll go on to the meetings for 2021.
So I have the proposed dates. There was just I'll do a friendly amendment. I just did a typo on the September. I wrote September 20th. It should be the 21st is the Tuesday. So proposed dates for next year, January 19th, March 16th, May 18th, July 20th, September 21st, and November 16th. That was just kind of the same way we did it last year. I just did every other month on the Tuesdays at 9 o'clock.
Third Tuesday of every other month at 9 o'clock. You got it.
Yeah.
Okay, members' privilege, good news and celebrations. Everybody got anything on that?
Sorry, if I could just, Lindsay, those dates, will you send them out in an email so
Yeah.
we can put
Yeah,
a master schedule?
I'll make calendar invites out and send them out.
Okay, terrific, thanks.
Yeah.
Nothing on members' privilege.
Well, I have one question.
Something to say. Go ahead.
Dawn and then
Well, there were two
Alan.
of us at once there. So I have something to say, Alan DeBring.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've said it before, but I think it's worth saying again. I'd like to take the time to thank all the doctors, nurses, and health professionals, first responders, paramedics, ambulance, police, firefighters, for all their efforts and hard work during COVID-19. It's actually dear to my heart because I'm a retired Toronto police officer. Thank you.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank you for that.
Dawn, you had something?
Anyone else?
Yeah, Jim, Don here. It appears COVID-19 has raised its ugly head in the south end of the county and North Wellington. All the schools will be closed in the schools there. It's obviously going to affect Southgate. I'm not sure how that's going to be unfold. Second question I have, commercial vehicles have been, license renewals have been delayed on all of them. So all the heavy trucks are driving around with expired plates on. How does OPP handle that?
We've been told by the ministry that it's not enforceable. So that goes for expired driver's licenses for people, expired valve tags on all the other personal vehicles, and it's there's a lot of them.
Yeah. And you may not know the answer to this, but will they come back in as if it never happened, or it could be an awful bill?
Oh, sorry, say that again?
Well, like, they're just not renewing them. Will that be just a write-off to the province? Is that what happens?
Yeah, like, I mean, in terms of the billing, I don't know. But I don't think, like, say if this goes until next March, because I think everything after March 1st, we were told it's not enforceable if it expired after that. So, if it rolls around to next March, are they going to make you pay for 2020? That'd be hard, probably, to manage, in terms of like a logistical standpoint, but, I don't know. It's a lot of revenue that's not being gleaned by the province for sure.
Curious. Sorry, Jim,
Yeah, Alan Green, on that note, I actually did renew mine for the 2500, which is registered heavy. And they actually gave me a deal on it. They prorated it, so I didn't really pay that much. Not like I normally get mailed anyway.
And I know people can still get the medical appointments. My dad drives truck, and he wasn't gonna not get it, not let it expire. So he got his doctor's appointment done, and he did his license too. So people are getting them done if there's a will, but if there's no will, then nothing that can be done.
So everyone heard this thing? I've got some good news too. I've got a new server for this damned electronic system of mine that's going to come in this afternoon between 12 and 5. So hopefully the next minute I've got everything back in order. It's a lousy server. Okay, we had confirmation of the next meeting, please.
So next meeting will be January 19th, 2021, which is a Tuesday beginning at 9 o'clock.
Excellent. Motion to adjourn. I'm sorry, who's that?
Sorry, it's just Nigel. I just want to make sure that I'm taking the right things to the commander. Big thing is the calling of chairs for a meeting to discuss joint ticket book. Is there anything else that this meeting's for? Or is it just the joint ticket book?
Well, other municipalities may have something on their mind also.
Okay, so that's
Just to
something.
clear, so much stuff was left hanging when Martin disappeared.
Retired. And
Well, I don't think he retired. I think he moved to the U.S. A job down there.
so then the other thing is the data to Lindsay, the Victoria Street speed spy.
That'd be great. Thanks, Nigel.
Okay.
So just a motion to adjourn then, Jim?
Alan
Yeah,
Green,
and I
moves to adjourn.
apologize for not getting in as early as I had hoped, but the electronic system here is not good at all. Hopefully they can get something better this afternoon. So we have a motion to adjourn. We don't need a second for that, so thank you, good people, for taking care of things while I was absent.
Thanks, everyone.
And all the best.
The vice chair did a very good job.